Hey everybody, my name is Janelle Phillips and I am so excited that I get a chance to come in here and chat with you a little bit on day 2 of our 5-day Plexus success plan. So sometimes when I do live videos, just as a disclaimer, I sound like a chipmunk. So I'm just making sure that maybe I don't. So here's hoping. Either that or you get a really good laugh from me first thing this morning. Anyway, so yeah, I have been a Plexus ambassador for, gosh, it feels like forever now, but we're coming up on 4 years very quickly. And there were a couple things that I wanted to share with you today that I really think is going to help you along in your success with Plexus. So a little bit about my story. When I started with Plexus, I really had very low expectations for what I was going to find with my results. I wanted more energy, better quality of sleep, and I wanted some control over my sugar cravings. So, I didn't have major health goals with it, although I was not a well person. I was really very sick and I struggled with so many different issues that, had I been a little bit more educated as far as what Plexus could possibly do for me, I maybe would have been a little bit more excited. But I was already pretty stoked about having more energy. And that happened for me within about 3 days. So I'm one of those people that it happened quite quickly. It wasn't gradual. It was like, bam, I had great energy. I had better patience with my kids, like all of those things pretty much within the first 3 days. Okay, so then as time progressed, I started to feel a difference with my health. I had a lot of issues, but I really was not intending to ever share this with anyone. And it took me a year and a half, a whole year and a half, you guys, to start telling people what I was doing. I may have told my mom, I don't quite remember, but I certainly didn't tell my friends or anybody else that was close to me. And in fact, when people would complain on Facebook or, in a group setting that they were feeling unwell, or, maybe they had a really, really bad headache that just wouldn't go away, right? The kind that you're sensitive to light and things like that. In my brain, a little hand would go up and I'd think, oh my gosh, I've got a solution for you, because I had been a part of the groups that we've been telling you about today. I'd been a part of, story testimony groups. I had stuff popping up on my newsfeed all the time that told me about other people's experiences with Plexus and how they were finding healing and hope for their persisting health issues. And so this little hand would go up in my brain, and then I would do this. No, you know what? They actually don't want to know. They don't want to know what kind of vitamins I take. Who am I kidding? Am I crazy? They don't want to know. And so I would stay quiet. I had friends that dealt with overwhelming feelings of sadness and, just out of the blue anxiousness that would just come on to them, and they would have no concept of how they could be helped other than to be going to their doctor and being on major amounts of medication. And I had been there. I had been diagnosed with issues as far as my feelings went, as far as feelings of sadness, and really lots of highs and lots of lows. And with Plexus, I was no longer on any of my doctor prescribed medications. I was only doing this awesome natural supplement routine. So I didn't share because I didn't think anybody else wanted to know. And I wish, looking back, that I had changed that attitude, because I thought I was doing it for them, right? Like, I figured I don't want to bug them, whatever, no problem, I'm sure that they've got it all covered, they got it under control. And I thought I was doing it for them, but I was actually doing it for me. I was very self-focused, self-centered. And then I had a moment. It was around Christmas time, actually it was after New Year's, the year that I decided to start sharing Plexus. And I realized that it wasn't about me. My husband would laugh right now. It wasn't about me. I needed to stop making the choice for people around me, whether or not they were going to get well. And I really felt like the Lord got a hold of me and told me, what gives you the right to choose whether or not the people around you, your friends and family, the people you love the most, who gave you the right to make that decision for them? And so I stopped thinking that it was about me and that I knew better for them and that I needed to have, I don't know what I was waiting for to share, because I had a great story. I didn't really think about my story as being that great, but I had a big story. I had experienced healing from things that seemed absolutely impossible. But we know from, even from Jessica's video yesterday, wasn't she amazing? When the body comes into balance and we get those trains moving out, right? Things start to happen good with our health. Like, we're able to balance, we're able to fight the inflammation, fight our bad gut health. We're able to balance our sugars, and then we're able to come into balance completely in our systems. So I started sharing. Now, I remember way back then thinking, how am I ever going to share? Because remember, I had been watching. I'd been watching those groups that I had gotten my upline had plugged me into. So the groups we're talking about right now would be the ones available for you, True North Health and Happiness for the Canadians, and then we've got Gut Health and Happiness in the States. And so she plugged me into groups like that, and I was getting stuff up in my newsfeed all the time, and I was seeing the stories, and I was seeing people's hearts, and I was watching people's lives be completely turned around for the better. And so all of that had been in my newsfeed, but I felt like I didn't know enough. I felt like I was underqualified to share what all of these other people had been experiencing, even to share what I'd experienced in my own life. And some of that sharing, I realized that the time frame that I had been waiting on, I watched other people who struggled with blood sugar issues, right? I didn't really struggle with major blood sugar issues that required a doctor's attention. You know what I'm talking about. And so, I couldn't tell them from my own personal experience how that had helped me, but I could share that story. So I knew that the onus was on my shoulders. I already had that conviction that I had to share. And so I had to take that bull by the horns, and I needed to find the information. I knew that I could not possibly contain in my brain all of the wonderful things that I would ever need to know about Plexus, but it didn't matter anymore. I knew that there were stories out there. I knew I could find them. Guys, the search bar, even the Facebook search bar, if you put in Plexus and then pick something, skin issues, or, put something in there, right? You will find a ton of testimonies on that stuff. You don't even need to be in the group. So there's another tool for you. But if you get into those groups and you put your friends in those groups and you show them how they can look it up and you can tag them in a couple things, right? And they're going to start to build belief in the testimonies, right? They say that facts tell and stories sell. So you can throw somebody a whole bunch of facts. You can spend a ton of time researching when you really only need to know a small portion and be duplicatable for other people, and then they can feel like they can share it too. If you know too much, sometimes that's not a good thing, right? You only need to know how to use the tools that we're giving you. So Facebook groups, super, super important for telling people's stories. And you know what, can I tell you, within 2 weeks, I had 3 people signed up. I'd gone silver from the time that I started sharing, and 2 of the 3 people I didn't even know. And it was because of my willingness to share my own journey and the journeys of people that have inspired me on my Facebook page. I got in touch with these other people, and they became part of my team. And they had been longtime team members of mine, which was such a huge blessing. So connect people in those groups, okay? Super, super important. And then tell them how to use the Facebook search bar. In True North Health and Happiness, they can type in anything that they want to, and all of that stuff is going to come up for them, okay? So there's one huge thing. Another thing, you guys have amazing people, amazing friends who have introduced you to Plexus. And you know what? Those friends, I'm sure, don't feel like they know a ton, but they might know about that much more than you do, right? And they can be that third-party validation. We call these things 3-way chats. And on my team, I have seen such amazing success with people, you know, before they start their Plexus journey, and then once they finally decide to jump in, we connect them. We connect them really high up. There might be, you know, 5 of us and a new person in that chat. And it's great because if one person is maybe working during the day and that person has a question, we just go in there and we, you know, we pour love on that person, more third-party validation and that kind of stuff, right? So use those 3-way chats. Don't ask. Just say, hey, I have a great friend who knows way more about this Plexus thing than I do, and I think that you're really going to value her point of view, or her story is great. I want her to share it with you. And just pop into a 3-way chat. If you're not sure how to do that, just ask the person that shared Plexus with you and they will help you out for sure. Another way is by doing Zooms, small Zoom calls. And it's just a video conference, very much like what we're doing right now, but you can grab a couple other people to come on there at the same time. You can share your stories, a little bit about the product, 25 minutes, and you're done. And it gives somebody like a face-to-face interaction when maybe you can't sit down and have a coffee. Another thing would be events, you guys. Events are so, so great. Have them in somebody's living room and just say, hey, you know what? I would love to come over and share my story with your friends. And let's help you to start to spread the word, spread the love about Plexus, and see how it could possibly change some people's lives. The thing is, you guys, a lot of people in our lives are struggling with things that we have no concept of. People tend to struggle in silence. And so if we reach out to them and say, hey, I'm trying this little thing, would you come out and support me? You know, there's going to be some yummy snacks. I'm going to make sure that that's there. But my friend is going to come over and she's going to tell us her story. Super low pressure. Please leave your wallet at home because it's just information. Come on, hang out with us. It's going to be great. You know, it's getting to be patio season. Maybe do it out on the deck. It doesn't have to be anything major. It can be you and your friends sharing your stories. The other great thing to keep in mind too, if you don't have an upline by you, I didn't when I started doing events, we now have these awesome product cards that came in your success kit, and they're going to tell you everything that you need to know about the Plexus things that you're going to share. There's going to be conversation starters on here, talking points, super, super awesome to do events on. So the other thing that I just said, I said, leave your wallet at home. We want people to be there for the information and for the connection, right? We're not salespeople. And that's probably one of the hardest things for me because I loved working in sales for years, loved doing sales. And so now I try to reach out very personally on that level where I'm not being salesy. We want you to share, right? Have you ever recommended a restaurant to somebody or a type of bagged salad? Here's a good recommendation for you on bagged salad. Get the ones that are all compressed because as it breaks down, it releases gases and it gets all puffy. So that's not the one you want. You want the bagged salad that's like really, really flat. So see, I just told you about bagged salad and I'm not making a dime off of that. So share Plexus because it's just a sharing thing, right? We share because we care. You can be the person, or you can start the movement to change somebody else's life. And I think that that's something that we all aspire to. We want to make a difference in the world. And when you realize that something that you chose to share, you stepped out of your comfort zone, you decided to share it with somebody else, that can actually change somebody's life. My upline who decided to share with me completely changed my life, and I will be forever grateful for her boldness and her willingness to share this product with me. And you know, she didn't scare me with a whole bunch of information. All I got out of it was what did I say? Energy, better quality sleep, and control over my sugar cravings. When I had huge issues. So what if those 3 things, or you know, reduction of stress, we've all got stress, right? You don't need to dive super deep into things in order to touch a nerve with somebody that they're like, hey, I could use that. I could have that. Because you know what, if you got a gut, if you've got a gut, you need Plexus. If you have feelings, you need Plexus, right? We all need it. So just as a recap, guys, don't feel like you need to know everything in order to share this. This is amazing. Just share from your heart and people will totally, totally understand where you're coming from, and they will take it as genuine, okay? So here's another tool for you. This Friday, we are having an awesome event. There's been a post already in this group. You need to find it. And on Thursday night, you can start adding more people into this 5-day success plan and inviting them to this live group Some of my friends and I are going to be talking about our awesome products. It is a super easy way for you to be able to duplicate all this information and give it to people who you know need it. Tell them already, even though you can't invite them to the group, tell them already. We've got an awesome, awesome event that's happening. You can watch it in your jammies. No one's gonna know that you're there. You can, whatever, you can have it on and be folding your laundry or whatever, let's be honest. When we're big people, we don't always go out chasing things on Friday nights. I would way rather stay home in my jammies. Anyway, it's gonna be an awesome event, and there's gonna be lots about the product, lots about what it's done for us, as well as what it can do for you and our business plan too. So yeah, I hope that kind of helped you guys along for today, day 2 of our 5-day success plan. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys later. See you.